Welcome to Gray Propaganda, where we discuss the lies, falsehoods, and politics of the day. Today we have an article from Fox. Harris lacked confidence, presidential demeanor in first TV interview, says body language expert, by Greg Norman. He writes, Susan Constantine tells Fox News Digital that VP Kamala Harris needs to make tweaks into her body language to appear more confident. I don't know what she has to do to appear more confident, but it's a hell of a lot more than that because she has no charisma, no confidence, no expertise whatsoever. We all know how bad the CNN interview with Comrade Kamala and Waltz was. Boring, uninformative, dodgy crap. Even CNN's article says Harris bolsters momentum in first sit down interview, but leaves gaps on policy detail. The best thing they can claim is that it bolstered her momentum. What are they even talking about? And if they say there are gaps on policy details, oh boy, you know it's bad. Now I'm interested to see what this body language expert has to say about it. Let's watch the video before diving into the article.
When I look at her overall demeanor, she does not carry the confidence or the presidential appearance in her demeanor to command in her position. So, for everything that I saw last night, she definitely needs to make some tweaks into her body language to appear more confident. With Kamala Harris looking down oftentimes and looking over to the side, looking at the other reporters that were in the room, were distractors. So the fact that she's looking down a lot removes a lot of the fluidity and the authenticity. She struggles. And when she struggles, you start to see a lot of the head bobbling. The head bobbling is what part of the file in my subconscious am I going to pull out? Which ones are my answers? She couldn't come up with a crystal clear answer. And that's why she tends to bobble. When you bobble and waffle like that, again, that's another signal that she's not really either one prepared. She doesn't really have confidence in her own answers, and that she is waffling on some issues because what's happening is she knows what she feels and what she believes in. She's trying to tell it slightly different, and there is that it collides. And when that collides, there's a lot of this bobbling where you're almost like saying yes and no all at the same time. It's really interesting, the dynamic, what's happening to her. When you're breaking gaze, that is a form of deflection. So when you're removing an eye gaze, not making good eye contact, it's just showing me that she's not confident in what she's saying. I'm looking at you in the camera and I'm making direct eye contact with all of your viewers. That's what she needed to do. My confidence levels is way off the roof compared to hers. And listen, I'm not running for the president of the United States. Again, it takes small tweaks to make big changes, and she really does need some body language coaching. The one things that I pick up when I look at the two of them when they're corresponding, but not only just with the two of them, with the room, that she looks for affirmation from others. So whether it's she's pointing over here to like other people or other things that she did, she's cross body pointing. She's always consistently looking for acknowledgement. She's looking for that signal from her walls to see if he's on board. Many times when we see him, he's got the pressed lips. That tends to be a more serious, more collected expression in his mouth. I saw something that was really interesting, and there was a point where Kamala Harris, you could see the stressors in her forehead, and she had this very odd mouth press. Let me back up. There was this very odd expression with her mouth. I think everybody saw it. And what that was is fear and sadness. That's when he was talking about President Biden, of course, when he decided to pass the torch over to her. So there is some things that are going on there. We don't know. With body language in itself, without other clues is only giving us some insight into some possibilities. But when you combine body language, facial expressions, the language that they use, you take into account eye movement cues or an eye direction, and also and where your eyes are looking, it starts to begin to tell a story. So overall, she melted in to the environment. She appeared to be a shrinking violet, which helped her to lose confidence, which is what she needed to gain just by the positioning.
She is shrinking. She is trying to think what she needs to say, what she doesn't want to say, but what she has to say to get elected. She will say and do anything. Her body language is super uncomfortable, the way she was moving her eyes, and the body language expert has it spot on. She doesn't know what she wants to do, she just knows what she needs to do to get elected. Now, in the article, it says a body language expert who analyzed VP Kamala Harris's first interview with the media since becoming the Democratic presidential nominee tells Fox News Digital that she believes Harris was not confident in what she's saying and lacked a presidential demeanor. Very spot on. The VP sat down alongside running mate Minnesota Governor Tim Walz on Thursday night for a CNN interview after largely avoiding the press since ascending to the top of the Democratic ticket. Yet she appeared to frequently look down while responding to questions. Very uncomfortable, and it says a lot that she has to have Waltz with her as well. The next paragraph says, when I look at her overall demeanor, she does not carry the confidence or the presidential appearance in her demeanor to command in her position, body language expert Susan Constantine told Fox News. So, for everything that I saw last night, she definitely needs to make some tweaks into her body language to appear more confident. The fact that she's looking down a lot removes a lot of the fluidity and the authenticity, she added. Further down the article, it reads, near the beginning of the interview, Harris was asked twice about her day one agenda, but gave overarching answers instead of responding with specific executive orders or directives. When she struggled, you start to see a lot of head bobbling. You know, the head bobbling is what part of the file in my subconscious am I going to pull out? Which ones are my answers? Constantine said about Harris. She shouldn't she couldn't come up with a crystal clear answer, and that's why she tends to bobble. When you bobble and waffle like that, she continued, there's another signal that she's really prepared. She doesn't really have confidence in her own answers. When you're breaking gaze, that is a form of deflection, Constantine also said. So when you're removing an eye gaze, you're not making good eye contact. It's just showing me that she's not confident in what she's saying. Harris sat next to Waltz during the interview in Savannah, Georgia, and Constantine said Harris was constantly looking around for acknowledgement during the event. She is also looking for that signal from Waltz to see if he's on board. Many times when we see him, he's got the pressed lips. That tends to be a more serious, more collected expression in his mouth, she said. The Harris campaign did not immediately respond to a request for comment from Fox News Digital about Harris's performance in the interview. It ends with, overall, you know, as one woman to another, I would say if you're going to be a woman in power, you have to look like a woman in power, Constantine said, and she doesn't at this time. Very spot on advice. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.